Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. Today we have a Tier 8 standard battle here on the North map starring Depression, and he's in a rather special ship. This is one of the new experimental ships that just got introduced into the game in the last patch. It's the Tier 8 French battlecruiser, the Metz. And there's nothing wrong with your monitors, this thing is starting the battle on 17,000 of its potential 42,500 hit points. This is the fight or flight mechanic. Basically it's a built-in adrenaline rush. This is completely intentional. You can choose to go with it and maximise your rate of fire or start burning heals instantly, although you will lose that 6.8 second reduction in the reload time on these 8 380mm guns. That's 8 15-inch guns on a Tier 8 cruiser. That's not bad. And here's the other special thing with these experimental ships. It is a burst fire mode, but it's not like other burst fire modes. As well as getting 2 salvos off extremely quickly, but then having a 31-second reload, and that's with adrenaline rush in play, they fire a limited stock of special ammunition. See, at the moment it has your standard armour piercing and high explosive shells, but when you activate the burst fire mode, those shells gain increased accuracy, increased penetration, and for the armour piercing shells at least, improved ricochet angles. However, it comes with a massive penalty to firing range, almost 40% reduced range. And remember, you get a limited number of this ammunition. You can't just spam them the entire game, you have to pick your moment wisely and use the burst fire when you're going to get the most bang for the buck. So Depression is beginning the game without the burst fire and enhanced ammunition active. He's got high explosive loaded at the moment, and it's just the regular high explosive and the regular armour piercing. Still pretty good though, I mean they're 15-inch guns and he's got 8 of them. The 2 turrets at the rear are 6-inch secondaries, basically identical to the 6-inch main battery guns that you get on French light cruisers. Going to go for some initial shots with the high explosive at the enemy Mutsu. He's popped his hydro and his engine boost. Yeah, decent initial hit. Knocked out some anti-aircraft guns, some torpedo tubes, started a fire. He's not using the engine boost to accelerate though, he's instead using it to reverse, in order to dodge the incoming fire. It was fairly inevitable the second he got spotted. Switching to the armour piercing. Chum Fon there, Pan-Asian light cruiser. Come on, reload, reload, reload. It's a light cruiser. 15-inch armour piercing shells. He's got the shots out. Is it going to be enough? He's lost sight of him. Although the Chum Fon hasn't lost sight of him. Oh, nice. Could have been worse. 1 citadel. Whole bunch of over penetrations, about 11,000 damage. Could have been a lot better, of course. The Chum Fon was very lucky to only take 1 citadel from 15-inch armour piercing. He's gone undetected. It looks like it was the Chum Fon who was actually spotting him. Hang on a second. Probably means there's an enemy destroyer or submarine who can see him who is currently undetected. Oh, he's managed to score a citadel on the enemy Borodino. That's, well, not entirely surprising. I mean, these are 15-inch guns after all. And the Borodino is broadside on. He's up to 25,000 damage, and that one's burning pretty nicely as well. Another salvo, again with the armour piercing. Oh, the Borodino just got smacked good and proper. Oh, he citadeled him again. And yet the enemy Borodino is not the first casualty. Depression's team have just lost a Chum Fon of their own. Still with the armour piercing loaded. Nicely angled enemy Nagato there with the armour piercing loaded. He's not going to be penetrating his bows or his belt, so he raises the sights a little to rake the superstructure with the armour piercing and does, well, some damage. The team, however, have just lost their own Mutsu. Well, this is not a good start. He's spotted again. Could be the Nagato, but I don't think it is. Switch to the high explosive this time. Remember, it's standard battle, it's not domination, so there's just the 2 bases. There are no actual capture points to influence the scores. At the moment it's just the kills. I have the enemy on a 200-point oh dear. There's the enemy chum fawn. He's activated the burst fire mode, but he was reloading. He's not going to get the... No, the chum fawn's made it. Ah, such a shame. You can see at the ammo counter there exactly how many of these shots he has. It's enough for 10 salvos and no more. There's the enemy Mutsu. Okay, there is definitely a submarine or a destroyer around here. Actually, there are no destroyers in this battle. Wow, I've just noticed. That's unusual. Which means there is definitely an enemy submarine lurking around, probably over there somewhere, at periscope depth. Spotting him for everybody. Oh, there was a Metz on the enemy team as well, by the way, but taken out by one of the friendly submarines. It's one of those new Russian submarines that they just introduced. Because I don't recognise the name. Yep, homing torpedoes. Looks like they're going for the Borodino. Oh, Depression is divisioned up with the Borodino on the team. Team have just lost to Colorado. This is not going well. They've just lost to Helena. The enemy team at 300 points ahead. What's going on here? Guys, stop dying. There goes the Hydro. Which, let me remind you, is one... Despite the fact that detecting submarines is what this shit was invented for, it's in this game 100% completely useless for when it comes to detecting submarines. You'll detect their torpedoes, but not the submarine that launched them, because wargaming logic. Well, he has gone undetected, so whoever was spotting him is either hiding behind a smoke screen or has dropped down below periscope depth. There's that chum fawn again. Oh, and he's spotted again. It's not the Fiji, but with the burst fire mode activated. And... oh, shit.
We've destroyed an enemy cruiser.
The Fiji's a really, really good ship. But it is just a light cruiser. And these are 15-inch armour piercing shells. So, yeah, there's Depression's first kill. And not before time, because that's only his team's second kill. And they've suffered 4 casualties of their own. And since they are losing quite badly, Depression has decided he needs his hit points, thanks very much, and he's burnt a couple of those healers. He's managed to get some shots out against the chum fawn. Is this going to be a... oh, submarine. It is! He's killed the chum fawn. Killed number 2. Nice. Submarine detected. Look at all of the depth charges. That's like all of the depth charge attack planes from absolutely anybody who's in range. I don't think that submarine's surviving that. Yeah, the Gascon finished him off with its own depth charge attacks. What is the reload on the guns with this burst fire mode activated? Because it doesn't seem that bad. I mean, it's certainly not good. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, 31.8 seconds. He still has some adrenaline rush going because, you know, he didn't start the battle on full health. The major penalty, of course, is the reduced range. 11.5 kilometres. Let's not forget, even though the Metz is a very heavily armed cruiser, it is still just a cruiser. As is the Almirante Cochrane over there, who very unwisely got spotted on low health and just had the honour of becoming Depression's 3rd kill. Team are actually ahead on kills now. And points. The scores are reversed. Fairly typical World of Warships replay. They've gone even further ahead on kills. Ooh, torpedoes. Friendly Graf Spee just finished off the enemy Nagato. Depression eats one of those torpedoes. Still got the armour piercing loaded, and absolutely no chance of penetrating an Alabama's bows, so again he raised his sights, managed to knock out one of the Alabama's turrets, which is almost certainly instantly repaired, and he's definitely got the Alabama's attention now. And unfortunately the Alabama has bigger guns than him, it has more guns than him, and it has actual armour. Not that the armour is going to make an awful lot of difference if the Alabama gives him a nice big flat juicy broadside like this to shoot at. And he is, of course, because why wouldn't he? There's one, there's two. Oh, didn't quite kill him. And he's got the engine boost going as well, so even though he is going to ground himself here, he's outturning the Alabama's turrets. The Alabama might get some rear shots off with the rear turret, but then again it might not. No, he's got the Alabama as well. Oh, he's got broadside shots on the North Carolina. Well, not quite broadside. 31-second reload, but it's enough to do some damage. North Carolina managed to turn just enough to avoid getting himself citadeled. Don't know what's going on with the enemy team here. They're like desperately trying to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Not that long ago, they were 2 kills and 200 points ahead, and now look at them. Yeah, not so much. Oh. Oh. Light cruiser incoming. Although it is a light cruiser with deep water torpedoes, so this is potentially extremely risky. And he doesn't have the wreck of the Alabama to take cover behind. Then again, is the Rahmat going to survive? It is going to survive to get the torpedoes away. Okay, slams on the brakes, instantly turns, dodges all of the torpedoes like an absolute boss. Still got 20 seconds to go before he can reload these guns, and he's probably going to end up with the Rahmat behind him and not be able to bring the guns around to shoot at him. Don't know exactly what the Rahmat thinks is going to happen with the smoke screen. I believe he knows you're there. Knowing that he's not going to be able to outurn and outshoot the Rahmat, he instead focuses his fire on the North Carolina, keeps turning and moving in order to get some solid ground between himself. And didn't need to. And then he reloaded torpedoes from the Rahmat. Finished him off with the secondaries, or at least the fires set by the secondaries. Oh, he's going to want to back up and not get shot at by the Borodino, who has popped his radar. North Carolina's been taken out by the Gascon. That just leaves one surviving submarine and the Borodino over there. That was a lovely move against the Rahmat, by the way. I mean, he knew there was no way he was going to outturn or outfight him, so he just left it to the 6-inch secondary turrets at the rear and made sure that there was the island on the right there between him and any potential further torpedoes that the Rahmat got away, which of course it didn't. The 2 initial burst fire salvos reduced it to such low health that the secondaries and the fires set by the secondaries were able to finish him off. 2 enemy ships left. There's the Borodino, and the Sturdy, the submarine, has to be the one flipping the base. The Gascon, which is very brave of him, is moving into the cap circle to prevent the Sturdy, and he spotted him. Oh well, the Sturdy's doomed, and there's no way it's going to win by flipping the cap. Not with 3 ships from Depression's team doing the same thing in the enemy base. The submarines may be sneaky little buggers, and they do have good stealth on the surface, but it's not that good, and they can't flip the cap circle unless they're on the surface. So with the submarine being forced to dive and being hounded by, yep, depth charges from the Grafspee and the Gascon, it's gone down. The Grafspee got him, shots out, and there's the Borodino. And there's kill number 6. And 186,000 damage for Depression in the Tier 8. You know, I always thought this was German for some strange reason, even though it is French. It's named after the city of Metz in the Alsace-Lorraine region, and that's probably why I thought it was German. Because at several points throughout its history, the city of Metz has been German. It was a French city, actually a very, very old French city, right up until the Franco-Prussian War, which France lost, and Germany said, actually, we're going to have that, along with the whole of the Alsace-Lorraine region, which they held on to until the end of the First World War, when France said, well, actually, we're going to have it back, thank you very much. And France held on to it until the Second World War, when Germany said, oh, no, you're not. And then up until the end of the Second World War, when Patton's Third Army rolled into Metz and took it, and ended up back in France, where it remains to this day. So you can probably understand my confusion and initially thinking that the Metz was actually a German Tier 8 experimental ship. It is not, it is French. Very proud of the title of today's video, by the way, although I cannot actually take any credit for it. This was actually suggested by Birder Chris, who's one of Stats Bloke's subscribers. Stats passed it along to me, with Chris saying, if Jingles ever does a video on the Metz, he has to call it How I Met Your Mother. And he's not wrong, is he? I mean, it's a great title. These jokes just write themselves. So anyway, thank you to Birder Chris for the title of today's video. Thank you to Depression for that 2,418 base XP match in the definitely not German, French Tier 8 experimental cruiser, the Metz. Hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.